And as we mentioned earlier, Pakistan is observing the Day of Exploitation to mark India's illegal and unilateral actions against Kashmir. For more on this, we are joined by Altaf Hussain Wani, Chairman of the Kashmir Institute of International Relations, live from Islamabad. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Wani. Now, Pakistan marks Kashmir Day every year to protest India's 2019 constitutional changes. From your perspective, what has been the biggest impact of India's decisions on the people of Kashmir?
You see, the people of Kashmir have been living under the Indian occupation since 1947, and more importantly, from 1989 onwards, we have a military repression in Kashmir, coupled with the draconian laws and so on and so forth. And the scale of human rights violations was so much, and the way the India used all its armory and even the pellet guns to blind the people. And you have seen the reports from the United Nations High Commissioner's Office and all other international human rights organizations on that. But what happened on 5th of August and why it is so important, why it is marked as the exploitation day or the darkest day in this chapter of Kashmir's modern history is that on the very day, the Indian government unilaterally abrogated the Articles 370 and 35A of the Indian Constitution. These articles were included in Indian Constitution after it, with the consultation of those people at that time in 1947 who aligned with India, like Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah and others. And there were some constitutional guarantees and the land rights, which the already people of Kashmir had the protection, even from 1927 from the Maharaja's rule. But what happened on this day? The Indian government unilaterally abrogated these articles, not taking any consent from the people of Kashmir, and this was India talking to India and doing all it. And by this way, the main aim of India was to engineer a demographic change in Indian occupied Kashmir. They changed the domicile laws and facilitated that more and more Indians could get the land rights in Kashmir. They can buy the immovable property in Kashmir. They can have the jobs in Kashmir, and so on and so forth. And along with that, the Indian government introduced a constitutional terrorism, what I call, in Kashmir, by way of that the laws were passed by the Indian Parliament, not taken the people of Kashmir into in any consent. There was no consent from the people of Kashmir, and thereby they, on one hand, the land grab became one of the biggest challenges for the people of Kashmir, and they thought it is a settler colonialism project of India and Kashmir to bring more and more people from India in the garb of the state's domiciles and also through industrial policy and so on and so forth. And this is not the only thing what the Indians did. Indians on the top of it, they also they are trying to erase the culture, the very identity of the people of Kashmir, the Muslim culture of the people of Kashmir, which has been there. All vintages of that culture have been erased. You see, the ban on books is there, that all those books related to Muslim history, to the history of Kashmir, and the Kashmir's past history, Kashmir's cultural history, Kashmir's societal history, those have been also erased by the Indians. So the Indian government, on one hand, is portraying that there is normalcy in Kashmir. People of Kashmir are very much happy with it. On the other hand, they are bringing more and more troops to Kashmir in order to give as that there is normalcy, but that normalcy is the normalcy of graveyard in Kashmir. There is no consent from the people. So people in Kashmir, over the period of time, from last 7 years, we could see more and more Hindus are being settled in Kashmir. Land is being provided to Indian realtors to build the industrial bases for themselves. Then the military infrastructure, which is being developed by India, has disturbed the ecology and also disturbed the very livelihood of people of Kashmir by constructing rails and road links for the defense purposes through the food basket of the people of Kashmir, dismantling the garden, dismantling the paddy fields, and so on and so forth. So these all things And we could see also, on one hand, you could see that the Amarnath Yatra, which is going on under the protection of the Indian forces. On the other hand, there is total restriction on the and any of the celebrations of the
Yes.
Muslims, that they cannot even pray Eid celebrations together, and that's one thing. And on the other hand, all the mosques and every institutions of Kashmir, they have been kept under the Indian government, under a Waqf board, while as all the Hindu shrines and others, they are run by the independent boards. And this surveillance in Kashmir, you have seen that 8,000
Yes.
social media accounts were disestablished, they were suspended, and along with that, some 50,000, 55,000 websites, they have been suspended. You cannot access to them. And
Yes.
the truth has been the
Thank you so much for giving us such a detailed picture. And you talk about it being, India talking to India. We've heard Pakistan's perspective, but where does the international community stand on this?
You see, international community unfortunately has been a mute spectator on this. Although we could see in the reports of the United Nations High Commission for Human Rights and also from the Secretary General's office that this unilateral decision by India is in violation of the people's rights in Kashmir, because under UNCIP resolutions you cannot make any physical change on the ground. So what India is doing, they are making a physical change on the ground. So this was against the spirits of the UNCIP resolutions, and it was also against the spirits of the United Nations Security Council resolution, because Security Council also says clearly in its resolution 122 of 1947 that none of the assemblies, even the assembly in Kashmir or Muzaffarabad or elsewhere, has the right to decide on behalf of the people. It's the
Right.
people of Jammu and Kashmir who will decide through free and fair plebiscite. So all these things are in contravention, but you see the current world order. We have seen last year, I think more than three-fourths of the United Nations membership, they recognize Palestine as an independent state. But what is happening on the ground, the international order is not functioning in its way. The way United Nations was created, our Security Council was created, the kind of polarization in Security Council has created more conflicts in the region. Wherever it's
If I could just ask you briefly then, what practical steps should the UN and major powers now take to move this issue forward? If you could tell us in brief.
Yes, brief. I can tell you this: that there's a way that that the big powers, the United Nations Security Council or United Nations, should call upon the India and Pakistan to sit together. Pakistan asking for the dialogue, so there should be a dialogue encompassing the aspirations of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and only then the peace in this region can be established. It has been proven time and again: without the resolution of Kashmir issue, there cannot be any peace in South Asia.
Mr. Wani from Islamabad, always good to have your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining us today.